Hare Krishna. I welcome you all to our new episode in regards to cow protection. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining. This Hare Krishna TV and the live sessions that we organize, we have the one and only agenda in mind is to promote you, is to inspire you to take to Krishna consciousness in little or some other way and get started with doing bhakti. From the past few weeks, we have been dedicating our Wednesdays exclusively to Mother Cow and her protection. We've been inviting people from all walks of life to talk about cow protection, to talk about what happens inside commercial dairies, and to talk about practical solutions in regards to how can city dwellers take their steps ahead for Mother Cow. We have been speaking to so many people in this regard, and as you see, today also we have a very respectable guru amongst us. I request you all to cover your heads because just like the past week, we again have somebody very exalted, somebody very senior, and this is our biggest fortune to talk to somebody who is directly Srila Prabhupadaji's disciple. I mean, I still cannot believe that this is happening, but yes, it is happening. So I request you all to be with us, stay with us till the end. Please be actively listening to the conversation so that you can ask meaningful and thought provoking questions when it's your turn. So, let me use my limited intelligence and capacity to introduce our today's guest, none other than His Holiness Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj. He joined the Krishna Consciousness movement in the year 1974 and has been practicing Krishna consciously, actively, and completely for more than 50 years. Maharaj has spent his life promoting cow protection and varnashram dharma. For many of you, this might be a new word altogether, but believe me, varnashram dharma is of profound importance in our Sanatan dharma, and directly, indirectly, our holistic development, overall spiritual and material growth is linked to varnashram dharma. Our scriptures are filled with the importance of varnashram dharma, and somewhere or the other, it is something that the society has not been talking about so much. So today we are going to talk not only about cow protection but also about varnashram dharma, and we are going to understand how are they linked to each other. Maharaj has written several books in this regard, out of which some are Make Vrindavan Village and Varnashram Dharma. Also, one of the biggest accomplishments is the Om Shri Surabhi campaign. We are going to talk about this in detail. We are going to talk about Varnashram Dharma in detail, about cow protection in detail, and of course, milk consumption in detail. So, thank you so much for joining. Let us all join our hands, bow down, and welcome His Holiness Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai. Maharaj, thank you so much for accepting our invitation in spite of being so busy, taking out time for us to educate us, inspire us, empower us. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. It is my pleasure and honor as well, I suppose, to make my debut with Hare Krishna television. Congratulations to you and all the team who I'm quite new actually to Hare Krishna television, but you seem to be covering a lot of ground, meeting
Yeah.
with many people, and I'm sure devotees around the world are being enlightened. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Maharaj, every minute with you is very precious to us. So I'll not talk much about here and there. Maharaj, please enlighten us and tell us more about what the Shri Surabhi campaign is. Om Shri
Okay,
Surabhi.
yes. So just very briefly, the little background, the Om Sri Surabhi campaign is an initiative of what is known, especially by those in India, as the ISKCON Daiva Varnashram Ministry, IDVM, India. India actually is the only country so far that has a national ministry for Varnashrama. So therefore, 1 year before ISKCON's Golden Jubilee was in 2016, we decided that the year before, because it was in 1965 that Srila Prabhupada ventured, as we know, to America, and the following year registered the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So, in commemoration of not only the year of registration, but when Prabhupada left the year before, means 1965. So we developed this concept of having a 12-year campaign from 2015 to 2027, because the 14th of November 2027 will mark Srila Prabhupada's 50th anniversary in taking Samadhi, isn't it?
Yes.
So already so many Golden Jubilee celebrations have taken place throughout our society on all the continents, and will continue to do so up until the 14th of November. So that's how it kind of started. And the main purpose, we could say, was to bring awareness, to create awareness, especially amongst our own devotees to begin with, and people in general, as to the importance of how culture being at the center of Vedic culture, briefly.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Viewers, I request you to please actively listen to whatever Maharaj is sharing. This is like once in a lifetime opportunity. And let me remind you, you will also get the chance to post your questions. And since we have the limited time, we are only going to select the very, very important ones. So, Maharaj, since you told us that India is the only country where you have a ministry for Varnashram, can you tell us what impact has it had globally in regards to awareness about cow protection?
Yes, although the Om Sri Surabhi campaign was started here in India and promoted by IDVM India, uh, the whole concept of dharma, and in particular the whole concept of varnashrama dharma, mm, being the minister. IDVM was actually established in 2009. So, as a minister for IDVM for the first quite a few years, and as a traveling sannyasi, I would go out of India and introduce in different countries wherever I would travel. And I would say, as a result, definitely through contacts, through lectures, people coming to India, to Mayapur, because the national office for IDVM is here in Sri Ram Mayapur. And therefore, different people, different yatras have become inspired. In particular, for example, we have in California a, a Gaushala, which is having the name Sri Surabhi Kshetra, where they have gear cows, in America, gear cows, and a very successful program. So, like this, in different countries, people came in contact with our activities and continue to do so. As a matter of fact, every month, every last Saturday of every month, we have a conference for Om Sri Surabhi campaign, which will be happening in a few days because we're just about at the last Saturday of the month. So it's kind of like ongoing.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. We all pray that this campaign achieves a big, big success and almost all the countries come and participate in this because somewhere or the other, this is linked to us all. So, Maharaj, since everybody is already talking about this and people are coming and supporting to you, I have a question. Beyond practical benefits, what is the spiritual significance of cow protection in the path of Krishna consciousness?
Yes. Of course, without cows, we know, as devotees especially, that brahmanas cannot perform their activities, isn't it? Therefore, we have that very well known verse Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Sa, Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. So, brahmanas actually cannot install deities. Brahmanas cannot perform jagyas. Brahmanas cannot initiate devotees without mother cow, because every jagya, every samskara, uh, there needs to be a homa, fire sacrifice, for which ghee is necessary, isn't it? So there is an intimate, completely closely connected relationship between the brahmanas, or let's say the spiritual aspect or culture uh, of Vedic society. And without the presence of cows, that spiritual dimension cannot actually take place. So it's absolutely, actually, cows are uh, both extremely beneficial in terms of the various material benefits they give to humanity, and they're also extremely uh, essential in terms of the spiritual benefits. So both on both levels, that is why the cows are absolutely foundational in our Vedic culture.
True.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. It feels really awful to know and learn there are so many foundational and core level benefits that we receive from just by serving the mother cow in the most minimal way. But it's awful to know that there not been so much awareness about it. I mean, children go to the school, but none of this is taught. There are friends groups, there are various degrees that the colleges offer, but none of this is taught. So, but we're
Yes.
lucky, Maharaj, to have your association. We've been trying to raise awareness about this. And in this regard, Maharaj, the next question is, how
Yes.
does ISKCON and specifically your initiatives strive to fulfill Srila Prabhupada's vision of simple living, high thinking through cow protection and varnashram dharma?
Yes. Many devotees know or should know uh, about one very important statement given by Srila Prabhupada in terms of 50% of his mission yet to be fulfilled, which is establishing varnashrama dharma. Now, that's a major statement, and that's a major, uh, we could say, concern. It was a major concern to Srila Prabhupada just 2 weeks before leaving us, while Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan. It's recorded actually, and he brought out how, in order to at least help bring people to the mode of goodness, because in Kali Yuga, as we know, primarily the mode of rajas and tamas, passion and ignorance, are predominant. So, in order to elevate people at least to the mode of goodness, therefore, varnashrama dharma is necessary. So, the efforts of IDVM uh, have been, as I mentioned, mainly here in India. We have, in different ways, suggested, recommended that committees, at least committees, if not an actual ministry, be established in other countries so that devotees can actually also learn about this yet unfulfilled, as I mentioned earlier, uh, mission of Srila Prabhupada. What we fail to understand in general, although it's written practically in every page, you know, throughout Srila Prabhupada's purports, is that Vedic culture promotes and is based on what we call an agrarian lifestyle. And it's only since the last 200 years, most of us don't really realize, it's only since the French Revolution and the Industrial Revolution that took place approximately 200, 250 years ago, that we have deviated in a major way. And we are becoming, as we all know, more and more urbanized, industrialized, isn't it? Mechanized. Uh, and therefore, Srila Prabhupada again and again was trying to help us understand that the Vedic culture promotes simple living, high thinking, and there are some good developments taking place, but a lot more needs to be happening, and it's all a question of awareness. We have different websites, and there are different initiatives in addition to the Sri Surabhi campaign. For example, establishing varnashram colleges is a major aspect And I'm here in Mayapur, actually, in the greater Mayapur, to set up along with other devotees, actually, such kind of facilities, because Mayapur is where so many devotees from all over the world come. So Prabhupada explained how our Vedic culture, our society, is not simply a religious organization, it is also meant to be and is an educational society. It is a cultural organization, and it is also meant to be a social organization, bringing about major changes in society.
Hmm. True.
It's a lot, actually, but it's through education, especially. Prabhupada gave importance, as we know, to Gurukulas, although it's a major challenge, as we know, and we've had our fair share of challenges from day one. But that remains the standard educational system, Vedic educational system. And Srila Prabhupada added to this what we call varnashrama college to teach us about the importance of cows, to teach us what we call the four basic Vedic sciences, again, less known to many devotees. That's called Chatur Vidya. That's a whole other topic, but very closely connected actually with cow protection, connected with the whole topic of milk as well, which is going to be some of the questions coming up. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj. You indeed said the truest thing that there's not much awareness about Varnashram Dharma. And if Prabhupada ji has said that half of his mission is about Varnashram Dharma, then we really need to get start going because time is flying by. And as you rightly mentioned, Maharaj, the world is running and time is flowing like water. Everybody's just working towards getting a better lifestyle, earning more money, and just trying to get the best of services possible around the world. But somewhere or the other, no matter what man achieves, no matter where man gets, there's always that hollowness within, there's always a vacuum within. And somewhere or the other, the vacuum only gets filled when you start serving others, especially mother cow. uh,
Yes,
hmm,
yes, absolutely. It's amazing because Krishna, naturally, it's expected because Krishna, in his genius, you see, in Kali Yuga, majority of people, as I mentioned, are in the lower modes of nature, isn't it? Mode of passion, mode of ignorance. But Mother Cow is already in the mode of goodness. Mother Cow is already in the mode of goodness. So if we simply associate with Mother Cow, we gradually also develop the mode of goodness. Isn't that genius? So Krishna has arranged that society. In other words, the standard, the norm in society is living with cows, growing our food. Therefore, the need of the hour for us as a society, which is meant to actually bring major changes uh, throughout the world, change the lives of individuals, is to introduce that concept of Vedic uh, agrarian lifestyle, Vedic villages. Because the more Prabhupada mentioned about modern cities or modern civilization, I'm sure you've heard it before, is a killing civilization. I have this book here, I'll show you. Whoops, it's upside down. Is it?
no,
Or I
no.
see it. Can you see it properly?
Yes. Modernity is killing civilization.
I see it upside down here. But anyway, yeah, modernity is killing civilization. This is part of my doctoral research on the subject matter of Vedic sociology. As devotees, we need to understand the basic concepts of what make up a Vedic society. And the core principle is actually, as you rightly mentioned a few minutes ago, begins actually with Mother Cow. Mother Cow will bring us all together because when we, Krishna every single day spends hours and hours, isn't it? The whole day. He goes out early in the morning with the cows, comes back only in the late afternoon. Krishna cannot live with his cows, without cows, isn't it? All, not only Krishna, all the residents of Vrindavan, they are totally dependent on their cows. The whole Vedic economy is based on Krishi Goraksha. Krishi Goraksha Vanijam Vaisha Karma Swabhavajam. We have forgotten this, or we've never learned it as devotees. Prabhupada explains in the seventh canto of the Bhagavatam, chapter 11, where he begins, Narada Muni begins a whole explanation on varnashrama dharma, on the request of Yudhishthira Maharaj. And he explains how majority of householders, even today, majority of householders, their prescribed duties is meant to be in connection with Krishi and Goraksha. So we have deviated. I mean, modern society has deviated, and we got kind of swept with all of that deviation, but we need to wake up, because actually Prabhupada mentioned how modern day civilization, I'm just using Prabhupada's own words, is a doomed civilization. Is a doomed civilization. It's not sustainable. And we have unfortunately dragged our feet for too many years. And we are doing some things. It's not that we're totally inactive in terms of health protection and developing farm communities, but we are way behind. But there's hope if we simply give more oral reception to what our founder, Acharya Srila Prabhupada, has told us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj. A few minutes ago, Maharaj, you spoke of challenges and you told us that we've had a fair share of challenges from day one. So, what are some of the few challenges that you've been facing or ISKCON has been facing in regards to fulfilling this mission?
Yes. I would say that one of the, at least to me, it seems obvious that when we, for whatever reason, fail to address or take seriously, take to heart a very fundamental, important instruction given by our founder, Acharya, then we'll get some negative reactions in the sense that will not be pleasing him, isn't it? In 1974, Srila Prabhupada, and that is in the folio, we can trace it out, requested that wherever we have a temple, wherever we have a project, we must immediately, he uses the word immediately, we must immediately introduce Varnashram College. Again, the aspect of education. We've not done that, unfortunately, because it is only through Varnashram College where the four, I was mentioning briefly, it's called Chatur Vidya, the four fundamental sciences that make up Vedic culture, Vedic society, beginning with what is called Anvikshiki, the science of philosophy, Trayi, the science of education, Dandaniti, the science of politics or governance, and four, Varta, the science of economics, which means Krishi Goraksha. Unless we have a clear training and education and understanding of these four basic concepts, we will not be able to fulfill actually Srila Prabhupada's desire of bringing about, as desired also by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the whole purpose of the mission of Lord Chaitanya, to bring about major changes in society, of course, with the beginning of the holy name, but also through these two levels of dharma. That's a whole other topic in itself, of course. You know, there is what is called spiritual swadharma, and there is also material swadharma. Both are eternal swadharmas. And when we fail to address both of them, we create an imbalance, which is what we have today. We are more speaking in terms of, you know, we are devotees. We should basically just focus on the chanting of the holy name. We should go to the temple. Of course, we should do all of these things. But at the same time, especially those who are having to live outside of our temple, of our temples, which means the majority of our devotees, we need to know, well, what is the best means of making a livelihood, how we can minimize being exploitative of Mother Nature, which is rampant all over the world today, and the norms and the directions and the guidelines are given there in Srila Prabhupada's books. And therefore, Prabhupada wanted that in our varnashram college we have 4 faculties: faculty of philosophy, faculty of education, faculty of governance, and faculty of economics, where the whole aspect of Krishi and Goraksha, cows and land, come in the picture. And it's only when we have that full picture that we can know how to proceed. Otherwise, we're kind of like taking bits and pieces here and there, and it's extremely difficult to actually make the whole thing cohesive. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for reminding us that it's time to bring this conversation to the forefront. It's time to
Yes.
bring this topic to the forefront, and it's time to work together towards this one singular purpose that is going to save us all, directly or indirectly. Maharaj, we've spoken enough about cow protection and about Varnashram Dharma. Now, I want you to talk about something that's been the center of our Wednesday conversations from the past few weeks.
Yes.
Let me just read it out for you. What is ISKCON's stance on the commercial dairy industry, and how does it offer an alternative model through its cow protection initiatives?
Yes. We should know that within our ISKCON society, the GBC over the years have actually passed different resolutions. They passed resolutions encouraging and directing our devotees, our temples, to actually reconnect. For example, one of the resolutions was to purchase produce from our farm communities as opposed to purchasing commercial produce. This actual resolution. One was in regards to introducing Ahimsa milk only to be offered to the deities by year 2022. Of course, year 2022 has come and gone, but that resolution is there. So there have been, and there are ongoing efforts. We have, of course, a ministry for cow protection and agriculture, and they are active in various ways as well. ISKCON as a society, the leaders in general, are quite aware of the dangers of commercial produce, including commercial milk, which I'm sure you've had already various discussions on the topic. The only way that we can actually properly consume wholesome milk, and with with a peace of mind, so to speak, is that we take milk from only from cows who are protected. But we need to know what that means. What does it mean, cows who are protected, isn't it? It's not only cows who will not be sent to the slaughterhouse, but cows, in which way they are kept in the Gaushala. First of all, most cows should not be kept in a Gaushala. That's a whole topic in itself. If you go to Patmera, which is the largest Gaushala, we could say the largest organization, they maintain and look after between 2 lakhs and 3 lakhs of cows. That's a lot of cows. That's a lot of cow dung. And they are connected with 20-25 villages. They're able to do that. So their cows are out most of the time. Cows are actually meant to be out grazing practically all the time. So we will not, we speak about it a lot. Well, a lot, probably not as much as we should, but speaking about it is only one level. I would say that we as devotees will not begin to understand until we physically at least go and visit and spend time in villages with cows. And ultimately, what our goal should be, but unfortunately, it's not yet been, I would say, formulated as such, although Srila Prabhupada gave clear directions. We should be, especially at this point and at this critical hour in which history is unfolding itself, one of our, I would say, topmost priorities should be to encourage our devotees, our householders, grihasthas especially, to create communities where we can keep cows. It's only when we will live with cows will we be able to actually uh, understand how we are meant to interact with cows, and we will be able to receive that gift. It's one of the gifts of nature, the milk that is coming from cows. But that's not the most important thing that is coming from cows. That's not the most important reason why cows are so important in our Vedic culture. The milk aspect. We over stress, I would say, the milk aspect. We fail to understand so many other benefits, not only spiritual, but also material in terms of the presence of cows. It's a massive subject matter. And of course, I'm happy that ISKCON television is dedicating so much time to go into the subject matter, because Prabhupada mentions in the book, important book, maybe less known by many devotees, called Light of the Bhagavat. The small book Prabhupada wrote before going to America, Light of the Bhagavat, wherein he mentions those who are serious to bring about solutions to the many complex problems of the world today must first give their attention to cow protection. It begins with cows. And if we fail to understand that, we'll never be able to bring about the solutions to mankind. Actually, Grandfather Bhishma Dev has given a very nice statement, because there's a whole dialogue between him, of course, and Yudhishthira Maharaj, as we know in Mahabharata, gives many, many important instructions. One of them, which to me is foundational, is that humanity can only properly function by properly honoring, protecting the three natural gifts of nature. There are three gifts of nature, forgotten actually in modern society by non-devotees, and unfortunately forgotten, or not at least sufficiently understood by our own devotees. And the first of those three gifts of nature begin with Mother Cow. The three of them are actually mothers. Mother Cow, Mother Surabhi, because the original cow is Surabhi in Goloka, in the spiritual world. Yes. The second gift of nature is Bhumi, land. And the third gift of nature is knowledge. Cows, land, and knowledge. They are three mothers, isn't it? So it's like in an ordinary family, when a child doesn't have that connection and association and support, emotional, physical, with his mother or her mother, then the child will not grow properly. So similarly, we are children of God, and we depend on Mother Nature. We are meant to depend on Mother Nature. We're meant to depend on Mother Cow, and it's all there in the Shastra. We just have to hear it and endeavor to the best of our ability to apply it. There are many wonderful hidden treasures in throughout Prabhupada's books and in our Vedic literatures, and unless we take the time to read and to hear, we'll never come to know about these. They will remain hidden. They will remain hidden treasures. So these three gifts of nature is, I would say, something that every single devotee needs to meditate upon and try to see how I can begin to apply this, even though I may be living in the city, because there are many practical things one can do also in the city. Although in the long run, we should know that our living basis is meant to be in the country, and our preaching basis is in the city. That's a whole other topic. And I'll just finish with this one point. Don't mind. Uh, uh, you know, we know that knowledge, which is connected with modern education, Prabhupada, we know, spoke very heavily against modern education because we're selling knowledge, isn't it? So
Yes.
knowledge is not a commodity to be sold. Brahmanas don't sell. They don't charge, isn't it, to instruct the traditional Brahmanas in the Vedic culture. So knowledge is not meant to be sold. Land is not meant to be sold in the Vedic culture because land actually belongs to Brahmanas who give it to Kshatriyas to manage. Cows are also not meant to be sold, which means that actually food and milk is also not meant to be sold when we live as we are meant to live. Something to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Maharaj, actually, it's mind-boggling for a lot of people, maybe who do not practice bhakti or maybe who are not actively participating in the Krishna conscious activities, that just by serving mother cow or just by taking her association, all the problems of this world, all the problems of the mankind can be solved. All the most complicated, apparently complicated looking things can solve sometimes on their own. Uh,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
uh,
You know, in that, since you're bringing that up, uh, I'm sure some of our viewers know. I was mentioning about this project in California. Our devotee has 25 or 30 gear cows, and he
yeah.
has this program called cow cuddling. People from America who don't know about Vedic culture, nothing, they come to hear that, okay, I can go there and I can be with a cow. And so, people willingly, happily pay $100 for 1 hour to be with a cow. That's cow cuddling. And many of them actually, after spending time, because the cows are so peaceful, it's very therapeutic. It's very therapeutic. And some of them come out of that experience saying, I'm never going to eat cows again. I'm becoming a vegetarian. Yes. So the presence and the contact that is meant to be there, as you rightly point out, with cows, is beyond our understanding. Because cows, uh, it is mentioned, Gava Pratista Bhutanam. Gava Pratista Bhutanam. All living entities actually uh, are held or protected actually by cows. And cows immediately bring all auspiciousness in one's life. And the opposite, of course, takes place. When we take away cows from our lives, then inauspiciousness begins. So if we want to bring back, actually, that's one of our objectives in the Surabhi campaign, is to bring about all global auspiciousness simply by bringing awareness. I think it was Nepal who last year, the year before, established mother cow as the national animal or national emblem.
Yeah.
That's one of the objectives, actually, of the Surabhi campaign, also to bring that awareness so that cows need to be protected, and at least they need to be protected physically by not being slaughtered.
Mhm. Yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Just few minutes ago, you were talking about urbanization, and I think it's time to give the bulls some attention. Um,
Yes,
in a world increasingly reliant on machinery, how does ISKCON promote and implement the use of bulls for farming and other purposes, upholding their traditional role?
yes. Actually, it's something quite active within the Ministry of Cow Protection and Agriculture. One of our devotees, who was and still is very active, from the UK, from the Bhakti Raghava Manor, Shamachandra Prabhu, uh, visits, has been visiting for many years different communities in Europe. And one devotee just a few days ago, actually here in Mayapur, showed me the picture of the small video of his son, who is now in Sweden, where he's being trained to actually look after the bulls, and they utilize them because they have quite a bit of forest. The same thing, actually, I was in New Mayapur, the Nouvelle Mayapur, in France a few months back, and they're also uh, understanding and I mean, our former minister for cow protection and agriculture was an example of that. Balabhadra Prabhu, actually, many years ago, he was for 2 decades, I believe, the minister, and he has his own farm and many wonderful cows, I believe, in near Gainesville in the U.S. So there are, like in Krishna Valley, under the guidance of His Holiness Shivram Maharaj, they are active in that respect as well. So there are, in other words, Prabhupada very much wanted that we not depend on modern day industry and machinery. Prabhupada actually made the following statement: the more we depend on machinery, the more we associate with machinery, we lose the ability to actually, we lose the finer tissues to develop our Krishna consciousness, because we become machine-like, isn't it? Machines have no life; they're just inert matter. So, so therefore, there is a great need for us to actually become leaders in that respect. Uh, and I don't have that much of details, but I'm sure if one gets in contact with the Ministry of Cow Protection and Agriculture, they can get more information. And I'm sure they have also some documents where, and I'm sure as well, some videos where one can see and read and understand how to implement whenever the situation avails itself. Yeah, that's very important that we should do that. I cannot hear you. I think you're muted.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah. Maharaj, we've had the best fortune of interviewing Shyam Sundar Prabhuji from Bhaktivedanta Manor. He was right here with
Wow.
us through an online medium. And he did share so many beautiful, and he revealed so many facts. He also stated so many things from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And whatever he said is in complete alignment with whatever you're saying. And
Yes.
it all just makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Uh, Maharaj, just in a few minutes, we're going to start taking questions about the milk and its consumption, which is too much into the demand this around this time. But before that, I have a personal question from you. And people wanted me to ask you this question. People wanted this question to be the very first question, but somewhere deep down, I knew that if I ask you this question as the first one, uh, we might end up discussing, matter that fits into this particular context. So, Maharaj, the question is, what inspired you personally to dedicate such a significant portion of your life to the Varnashram mission?
Good question. Uh, Actually, when I, as a new devotee, relatively new devotee, 2 years after joining, I came to India, and I was involved in village preaching quite actively for many years. But at that time, Varnashram, of course, I knew Varnashram, like we all know Varnashram, but I didn't know Varnashram as I kind of understand more today. And it's connected with, I would say, uh, one important uh, writing, maybe much less known. There's another writing that is less known, written by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, and published in his Back to Godhead magazine way back in 1956. And it's called the Essay of Gita Nagari. The name of the essay is called Gita Nagari. It's never been published. I tried to get it published. That's a whole other matter. But it's in the folio. It's in the database. Means it's available for those who want to know about it. And Prabhupada makes wonderful and very essential statements. And to me, in that essay, Prabhupada, we could say, introduces and pens his whole vision for introducing Krishna consciousness in 4 clear phases. And I was, yes, it's not been published, but here it is. I mean, one devotee just published a few copies for my personal study and giving courses. Thank you. So in that, to me, it became obvious that in explaining these 4 phases, and I'll just mention them very briefly because I feel that unless devotees in our society understand these 4 phases, we won't know where we are going. We won't know where we are meant to go. Of course, we're all meant to go back home, back to Godhead. That's one thing. But before we go there, there are 4 specific areas that Prabhupada spoke about. And I'll just mention them briefly. Prabhupada called it in that context, Sankirtan movement. Prabhupada's own words. Sankirtan movement means the holy name and transcendental books. That's how Prabhupada started his movement, in Thompson Square Park in America. That's how Lord Chaitanya started his movement in Navadvip, in the streets of Navadvip, Mayapur. The second, Prabhupada calls it temple worship movement, establishing temples. The third, spiritual initiation movement. Once you have people coming to a place, a location like a temple, then you gradually train them, educate them, and they become committed, take initiation. And the fourth one, which was and even now remains concealed in that essay because there's a typo error. Prabhupada called it, also the name he called it is a little maybe difficult initially. He called it classless society. Classless society movement means actually Daiva Varnashrama. Daiva Varnashrama, where different from the ordinary, let's say, Varnashrama, where people are not all united on one thing, but in Daiva Varnashrama, everyone is meant to focus on serving Krishna. The central point is bhakti, devotion. That's why it's called Daiva. So Daiva means actually devotional service to Krishna. And that is the fourth movement. So it means that actually all of these years, we have been doing book distribution. We've been doing, Harinam. We've been opening temples, especially in India, like crazy. We've been doing congregational preaching, but we have not understood that all of these 3 are meant to connect us and to open up and help us establish communities where we can get back to the cows, where we can get back to simple living. I'll just mention this, Grandfather Bhishmadev mentions the very first instruction in the first canto, 9th chapter, text 26. Somebody can look it up later on. 1:9:26. The very first instruction he gives to Yudhishthira Maharaj is that now you're becoming a king. This is when Grandfather Bhishmadev is on his bed of arrows. My dear Yudhishthira, your first responsibility, duty to establish, to see that the system of Varna and Ashrama is working properly. Then in the first line of that purport, Prabhupada mentions Grandfather Bhishmadev is referring to the system that Krishna speaks about in Bhagavad Gita 4:13. And that because that system is meant to accelerate the development of spiritual qualities. This system of varnashrama, which is created by Krishna, is meant to help us become devotees, is meant to help us advance in Krishna consciousness. So to me, that was very striking. And I felt that because it's not something that's taken up by so many people, I thought I should try to do something. And I've been trying in some way to do that.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. It was very, very beautiful to hear about your journey directly from you. Otherwise, I'm sure, let viewers, let me tell you that there's a very beautiful website that is dedicated to Maharaj and all his services, all his biodata, biography, and his contact. I mean, how can you reach out to him? All the details are mentioned in that website. We'll write about all those things in the live chat and the comment section. Please visit those websites. You can also donate, you can also participate, you can actively contribute to these initiatives, to these movements. I'm sure so far you've been convinced about how Srila Prabhupada wanted us to live in a sustainable environment where we don't really depend on machineries. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to have an environment, a source of livelihood that is deeply rooted with Mother Nature. And somewhere or the other, that is the only way where we can be happy, stay happy, and continue to serve Shri Krishna and Mother Cows and live a satisfied life.
Yes, correct. Well said.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Uh, so, Maharaj, it's time to talk about milk and its consumption now. We've spoken about this to many people. And the reason why we are talking about this to so many people is to gather as much opinions as possible and to finally come to a conclusion that is approved by all, understood, and accepted by all. In that case, Maharaj, the first question is, if devotees are consuming milk, which is from himsa source, what are the karmic repercussions on the devotees?
Well, most of the milk, himsa source means it is commercial milk, isn't it?
Yes.
Means we don't know. I mean, we have some understanding of how the dairy industry functions, um, and there is that milk, that commercial milk. We call it milk, but actually it's not milk. Um, and it's not only milk that is coming from a himsa, I mean, a himsa source, not a himsa source. I mean, the food we consume, the clothes we wear is also, and the buildings in which we live, the whole. So there are some health issues. There's some immediate health reactions will be there. What to speak of additional karmic reaction, because we are in so many ways contributing to a very unwholesome situation, because the more we continue to buy such, we could say, non-dharmic produce, whether it's milk, whether it's food, etc., clothes as well. Prabhupada wanted, as we know, that we also make our own clothes. So there will be both immediate and long-term negative reactions for which we will have to suffer in different ways. Some details may be available there in the Shastra. I don't have them at hand, but it's definitely not good for our physical health to begin with. And it's also not good because we are, one of our core uh, principles as Vaishnavas is to avoid at all costs bringing any kind of suffering to other living entities. And my God, we are directly allowing this to take place by continuing to not understand and not give proper attention to taking and consuming uh, such commercial products, in particular commercial milk. We become very attached, overly attached, obviously, to milk and its different products like cheese and yogurt, etc. But there's, I just want to mention two persons whom you might like to interview at some point. One is my god sister. She's from Canada also. Uh, her name is Dr. Vishwadika. She's a veterinarian by profession, and she's written a very interesting book you'll be interested to know called Bhakti Milk. Not Ahimsa milk, but Bhakti milk, to get the point across. That's one person, and she just came back to Mayapur. She's in Mayapur now. I can share her contact later on. I don't know if I have that copy of her book here. And the other person, we have him give courses when we have our varnashrama seminars. He's an Ayurvedic doctor. His name is Dr. Srinivas. Ah, my God, he's here. Thank you. That's why he's going to have an assistant. Here's Bhakti Milk. Yeah, she'll be very happy that I'm giving a plug for her book. Very important, a lot of nice references, etc. And Dr. Srinivas, I can also share his contact later on. Very, very knowledgeable Ayurvedic doctor, and he gives conferences all the time in so many places, both in India and outside of India.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we should know that, I mean, it's one of the 5 tattvas, isn't it, in the Bhagavad Gita, karma. So whether we know or don't know, knowingly or unknowingly, if we go against the law of karma, if we go against the principles of dharma, we will get karmic reaction, which will, cows are so dear to Krishna, as we know. So if we, again, without being conscious of it, if we offend the cows, then how Krishna will be pleased? How we can attract the attention and the mercy of Krishna, because without the mercy of Krishna, we cannot progress in devotional service.
Mm. Thank you so much, Maharaj. There's this one statement that you made during this answer, and it's echoing in my mind. And it was, if we continue to take this milk, my God, we are allowing this to happen. And this just shows how intimately we are linked to this inhumane process, and how are we allowing it, approving of it without even realizing it. And it's very true that ignorance is not an excuse. It has never been an excuse, and it will never be an excuse. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Maharaj. The next question is it okay to have buffalo milk or cheese or paneer, which are commercially made predominantly from the buffalo milk?
We just talked about commercial produce. So anything, whether it's buffalo or not buffalo, anything that is commercialized is not at all ideal, should be actually avoided, and it is detrimental to our health. I mean, if we want to give some comparison between buffalo milk and cow milk, or buffalo ghee and cow ghee, we interviewed some years back Ayurvedic doctors, and they pointed out, I don't have that background, so I cannot go into details, but he explained how the composition of cow's milk is very different actually than buffalo milk, and it is cow's milk that we use for bathing the deities. It is cow's ghee that we use for our jagyas, and therefore it is cow's milk, and it's different, we call it pansagagya products, that are especially wholesome for the human being. I'm sure that buffalo milk has its place, but in terms of health, in terms of Ayurvedic doctors, and in terms of brahmanas who perform jagyas, they use cow's milk, cow's ghee.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but yeah, many times due to the scarcity of milk, we use adulterated milk, or possibly people use other types of milk as well, which is definitely not pleasing to the Lord, and therefore we should be conscious of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maharaj, since you spoke about something that is not pleasing to the Lord, my next question is directly linked to this statement. We do
Yes.
not offer onion and garlic to Krishna. nor we offer non-veg or alcohol. So is it okay to offer milk coming from commercial dairies, which is mostly himsa milk to Lord? Will he accept this offering?
I'm sure it's a question that many devotees have on their mind. Uh, I know many devotees, many god brothers of mine and god sisters and various devotees who have taken a vow not to take milk, not to offer any type of commercial milk. Other milk, I mean, it's not that we we don't promote veganism where they don't consume milk at all. That's a whole other topic in itself. But um, I would say, to the extent that one is aware of the suffering that is being inflicted upon different animals, um, so the more we are conscious of this, then definitely that is not pleasing to Krishna. And whatever is not pleasing to Krishna, that is our barometer, isn't it? We should do things that are especially pleasing to Krishna, and we should avoid those things that are not pleasing to Krishna.
Hmm. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Maharaj, for your time, for all
Yes.
the timeless knowledge you bestowed upon us. I have my last question for you. What is your message to all the devotees who are watching the show? How should they source the milk and support cow protection?
Best way to support cow protection is to give necessary time and attention to hearing and understanding Srila Prabhupada's many important instructions on this matter, and whenever possible, to physically connect with those who are actively involved in various ways to protect Mother Cow. And wherever devotees may be, if there's, just like in India, we have a ministry for that purpose. Actually, in India, we have two ministries. One we talked about briefly for varnashram, but there's also a specific ministry for agriculture and cow protection. So in India, people can directly contact Ministry for Cow Protection and Agriculture. Otherwise, they can connect with the global Ministry for Cow Protection and Agriculture. And we have many devotees in different countries who are engaged in different projects, developing rural communities. I would humbly request devotees to be connected with them. And maybe the last recommendation, which is another important book, which is available on our website, I'm bringing it up here, is called Speaking About Varnashrama. This book, Speaking About Varnashrama, was actually commissioned by the GBC way back in 1996, Srila Prabhupada's centennial, when the GBC wanted that our devotees do some research on the concept of community development. And therefore, a group of devotees, I was not involved at that time, they took 1 or 2 years to do their research, and they nicely explained in the introduction of this book that we could not properly do justice to the concept of community development without actually taking a look at what Prabhupada said on varnashrama, because varnashrama is Vedic sociology. It is the ideal, perfect way to organize society. So I highly recommend that devotees form what we call uh, research, varnashram research teams or small groups. Begin to read this. It's available online. And simply by doing a weekly reading and discussion on this book, automatically Krishna will bless you and help you to understand in practical ways what we can do to reconnect with Mother Cow, to reconnect with the roots of our Vedic culture, which are in terms of agrarian lifestyle. And even I was visiting a devotee earlier this year, actually in Ukraine, who's living on a 5-story, 5-level apartment, and he has his own small garden, and he's growing small tomatoes. and some greens, all those very small area. So wherever we are, we can and should reconnect with Mother Nature, with uh, with the cows, with the land, and we should begin to grow things a little bit on whatever scale that we can. If we do these things, then Krishna will be pleased, Srila Prabhupada will be pleased, and when both Srila Prabhupada and Krishna are pleased, then definitely we will get blessings from both of them.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to you on behalf of all our team, on behalf of all our viewers. This still feels like a dream to me. I'll have to go back home and watch this episode and remind myself that I was blessed with this opportunity. And keeping everything aside, Maharaj, thank you so much for focusing on what Srila Prabhupada has said. Thank you so much for focusing on something that was not being so much focused upon. We really hope and we pray that together we can create a better society for us all, so that we can all achieve what our actual goal is. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
So I hope you guys liked the show tonight, and I really request you to watch it over and over and over again till the time you finally understand and you get convinced that what Maharaj is speaking is not something of his personal interest. It is something that is going to cater us all in the long run. It is going to cater to the generations that are going to come. And I hope that you will share this session with a lot of people. You will watch it with an open mind, and you will watch it with a solution oriented attitude. Please share this session. Please share your honest feedback and your views in the comment section. We are doing this because this is something that is going to take a lot of effort, take a lot of teamwork, and together we have to work, as I rightly mentioned. Um, Also, please get in touch with Maharaj. We're going to share his website details with you in the comment section. All of you can come together and donate and help with whatever, with whatever capacity you have. I hope that this session brought a new direction in your life, a new environment in your life, and I hope that it has opened your eyes. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.